Bethany, this is Keith. Do you want to explain what the design is?
Alright, so we've got an arch of the hedgerow, which is supposed to be resembling the arch of the plane, and then we've got flowers. Unfortunately, they haven't flowered yet, as much as I wanted them to, but we've got red, white and blue, so we've got poppies, geraniums and cornflowers and lily of the valley, and then the benches so you can sit and look at.
Well, good morning everyone, and thank you so much for coming. And first of all, we are extremely grateful to Toyota Motor Manufacturing UK Limited, Mr. Freeman, Julie, all the staff who have been tremendously helpful in allowing us to erect and unveil this memorial. My name, by the way, just is Kenneth Bannerman. I'm the head of the Airfields at Britain Conservation Trust, or ABCT, which, if you haven't heard of us before, is the world's first national airfield charity. Quite revolutionary what we're doing. So first of all, I'll hand over to Mr. Freeman to see whatever he'd like to say.
Thank you, Kenneth. Well, thank you for joining us. We can plan most things, but unfortunately we can't plan the weather. But we really appreciate the contractors that have joined us, Team UK members that have joined us, and our external guests. So anyway, we're here. My name is Tim Freeman. I'm Deputy Managing Director here at Toyota Motor Manufacturing UK. And we're delighted to be the hosts of this memorial here on the site of the old airfield. So we're here today to commemorate the units and the personnel that used to operate from this airfield in the past, particularly during World War II, and the important role they played in World War II as well. So in a moment I'm going to hand over to Kenneth, and we'll unveil the memorial, which is built in honour, and I want to point out and thank the members that have created this lovely position. Every member that works here, or the majority of members that work here, will walk past this memorial, and I'm sure they'll get many, when the sun's out, they'll take the opportunity to have a quiet moment here and reflect on the in respect of the servicemen and women that served from here. So we're delighted to host that. Kenneth, you've introduced yourself already. You've got a wealth of knowledge.
Yes, I'll keep it very short. Don't worry.
In terms of the history of this airfield and the personnel that were based here and trained here. So I'm going to hand over to you.
Thanks.
To say a few words.
Thank you.
And remind us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, very kind. Now, we'll just keep the history very short. Apart from the weather, we're very conscious of this, weather allowing this fly past by a tiger moth at 11:15. So as we speak, it is about 6 or 7 minutes past 11. So if I'm slightly curtailed, you'll know why. Well, I'll just give you a quick potted history of the airfield and why all this matters. Burnaston, which is a famous airfield right to this very day, it opened in the autumn of 1938 as a flying school airfield. This is when it received its Air Ministry public licence. The following year, early summer, it officially opened as Derby Municipal Airport, and indeed was the second last airport to open in Britain before the start of World War II. However, military flying training predominated for many years, and once into wartime, the main unit here was number 16 Elementary Flying Training School, which flew a mixture of Javelin Moth biplanes and Miles Magister monoplanes. So this was a very busy airfield in World War II, gave great service to its country, and there were various associated airfields with it, like for example Abbots, Bromley in Staffordshire. So military flying continued to the early 1950s once the Elementary Flying Training School became a reserve school. Flying finished in that capacity in 1953. However, by 1949, Derby Aviation, which is still very much remembered here, and this was tied in as well with Air Schools Limited, and notably a gentleman called Roy Harbin, who were both very significant players here for many years, both before, during and after World War II. Derby Airways became the established element here, and this is when Derby Airport became an airport in the true sense of the term, and so there were various airline services to various parts of the UK, including my part of the world, dare I say it, Glasgow. And this carried on well into the 1960s, This was an excellent airfield, but because it was just simply a grass airfield, the authorities were looking around for an airfield with hard runways, and the perhaps surprise replacement candidate was Castle Donington in Leicestershire, better known today as East Midlands Airport. So it replaced Burnaston in a airport capacity in 1965. Here, Burnaston closed the same year. Flying, however, never quite fully went away, and then it fully reopened as a general aviation civil airfield for flying club use in the mid-1980s, and flying continued until the near the end of March 1990, when of course plans were already underway for the factory here. So the airfield, as far as we gather, has now completely vanished, and there were significant facilities in this general area, various hangars, control turn terminal, and then not forgetting Burnaston House, just immediately behind the hangars, which was dismantled and apparently is lying in something like about 1,500 pieces, we gather, in a field in Yorkshire, so we believe. But although the airfield in a dictionary sense is now gone, it is still very, very much remembered and valued. And just finally to say in that general respect, as we just say to people on our travels across the UK, just please do remember and honour all of our airfields, active and disused, and all the incredibly brave people who have served at them over the years. I mean, sadly, some people lost their lives here through training. I should just, by the way, mention as well, give a special mention to the glider pilot regiment training that was carried out here as well from 1942 onwards. That was slightly unusual, but that played a very important part in the elements like, say, D-Day and Arnhem later on. So this was all part of the basic flying training they did. So I'm just looking at my watch here. We're still okay for time. What now? Whether you'd like to say unveil the memorial now, and then hopefully if they fly past, I can then read out this quick statement that I've been asked to read out by Airspeed Aviation. Just finally to say, as with all of our memorials, just on a quick personal note, that this is always very, very long planned, and in this case, the plans for here actually date back to be exact, the 10th of September 2016. And just why I say it, if you'll forgive me for mentioning this, just 8 days later, I nearly died from 4 strokes. So, you know, but like our airfields in general, we don't give up. You know, we remain in the case. So anyway, here we now are, and we're really delighted to say again, thank you so much for everyone here at the factory to be able to unveil this memorial. We also will be unveiling, by the way, 2 memorials tomorrow and Sunday at Ashbourne and Darley Moor airfields. Again, very long planned, and again, there's very good feedback with this. So we are really delighted and honoured to be unveiling this latest memorial to yet another of Britain's really priceless assets, Burnaston Airfield. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, shall we unveil?
Yeah, sure.
And,
yeah, sure. No, we'll just, we'll just see the. Okay, right. Okay, just need to lift it. That's all. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks. Great. Okay, thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You might mention the what it's made from, Kenneth.
Yes, well, I won't bother you with all the technical details, but this is top quality Indian granite if you're interested. I designed these after, something about 25 years. So, you know, most important of all, of course, we're pulling out all the absolute stops to honour the airfield and all the very brave and dedicated people who served here. So what you see today, you will also be seen over the weekend at Ashbourne and Darley Moor. So it's, I'm delighted to say they're proven very effective. So,
excellent.
Yeah,
nice.
Thank you.
And when we get a bit of sun,
yes,
and the trees start to grow and the flowers come out, it will be a beautiful spot as well for it.
Oh yeah, sure.
Where do you want us to stand at? Here?
Just here. Okay. Right, well, just, this fly past should be about any moment now.
Any moment now?
Yeah, just,
Where's it flying from?
Eggington, or
it's a Tiger Moth.
Derby Airfield, or Eggington, however it's called here. It's known by both names.
Yeah, Eggington.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So we'll watch out.
Yeah, it's just should be just literally any moment now.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do to unveil.
Oh, yes,
Really respectful.
Well, this is what the general public told, especially me, over decades, literally.
Brilliant.
Just name of the airfield, major alternative names, first opening date, last closing date, general dedication to units, and then any organisation. You know, they were saying we need a national organisation. Well, that's us.
Right.
And then, of course, with the advent of the internet, and then whoever's available to unveil it. That date, by the way, there's always a bit of a question mark about. I mean, dates are a nightmare at the best of times.
September
Well, that is when Burnaston received a public use licence by the Air Ministry,
Right,
and that was the same day the elementary flying training school that was initially here, that then became number 16 elementary flying school.
Right.
That's when it started. So we can say, I mean, the construction work, we believe, started at the end of 1937, and I've certainly seen one or two photographs from about April 38. They were starting to lay out the landing area. There may have been one or two aircraft that landed, but that's when flying is fairly widely acknowledged, really good going. Right. Yeah, we'll just I say just if just see where Julie is. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, okay. Now I might have to just slightly paraphrase, but it says, it's hoped. Okay, right, okay. I'll just read this statement out from Airspeed Aviation Limited. Now, again, if the aircraft suddenly comes over, I'll just hardly stop. But I've been asked to read this statement. This is from Airspeed Aviation Limited along at Eggington Airfield. I'll just read this very quickly. As a backdrop to the unveiling ceremony at the Burnaston site of Toyota Manufacturing UK Limited, it is hoped that a lone Tiger Moth aeroplane will overfly the site. During the war years, Burnaston was the home of no less than 108 Tiger Moth aircraft used for basic flying training. The aircraft were used extensively at many sites in the UK, Canada and Australia. The aircraft were the standard basic trainer used by the military for many years. The aircraft are two-seat open cockpit biplanes powered by de Havilland Gypsy major engines of about 130 horsepower. The instructor is seated in the rear cockpit with the student pilot in the front. Both cockpits are fully equipped with controls and instrumentation. Originally, communication between the two was by a simple speaking tube connected to earpieces because the aeroplanes had no electrical systems. On the ground, they had to be started by hand swinging the propeller. It is fitting today that a Tiger Moth aeroplane is able to enhance the unveiling ceremony on the ground. This particular Tiger is kept flying by a small team of dedicated persons at Vintage Flying, based at nearby Derby Airfield, Eggington, in association with the Derby Aero Club. 2 Tiger Moths are available to give vintage flying experiences during the summer season. Perhaps more than any aircraft today, this Tiger Moth is a worthy salute to the 14,000 airmen who learnt to fly at Burnaston all those years ago, courtesy of Tiger Moths. Nearby Derby Airfield was built privately to replace the airfield at Burnaston that was closed to facilitate the construction of the Toyota factory now extant. Derby Airfield is operated by Airspeed Aviation Limited and is the home of the Derby Aero Club and Vintage Flying. Flying training is still carried out, albeit more modern and warm Cessna aircraft. Derby Airfield is still one of the very few new airfields to have been built in the last 6 decades. So we acknowledge Airspeed Aviation for supplying us with that commentary. But oh, here we go.